Live in this piece. Oh boy. 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 Let's see. This is gonna be good. We're gonna do it. Where is it? Share in the group. This is gonna be good. Let me put my YouTube link here just in case people want to know about your boy and what he's doing. Hopefully it's working. I don't know if it's working. I gotta check. Let me check my channel, see if it's live. Gonna do a quick check on everything. There we go. Alright, we are live. Yeah, we're live. Definitely live. Alright. Alrighty. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Oh, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. It's going to be a good one. Alright, let me put my phone on silent mode before I. Oh, 800 numbers. I don't like it when they just call me. There. Silent mode. We are silent. Alright, let's see if I get my chat up in here. Slowless, what's good, man? There it goes. There's my chat. There's my chat. Oh, I forgot that speaking of chat, I forgot about my damn chat bot. Oof. Oof. Big oof. As the kids say. Whoo! Where is my... There it goes. We're getting this ready to go. Yes. Alright there. Alright there then. Where are we? I hope y'all are doing well. I hope everybody's doing well today. Alright. Let's get it popping. Let's get it cracking. Let's get it crack-a-lacking. I hope y'all doing good today. Hey world, what's good? It's your boy LG. And I'm here. We live. We gonna do it. You know, I'm not from the 405, you know, but I am live. But we're gonna go ahead and do this. Move this over this way. Move this there. Connections. Connect again. There we go. All right. There we go. We are connected. So y'all, do y'all see the title? Can y'all see anything? Let me get my chat going. Where's my chat? Where is my chat? Oh Jesus. Okay, there it goes. Actually, I'm gonna move that over. I'm gonna move my chat over. Oh Jesus, no! I don't want to. I'm gonna move it this way. Yeah. I don't want it to interrupt my face though. Okay. Alright, we're gonna keep it going just like that. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Let me see. I wonder if my commands are working. We're gonna see if we're on. Let me see if my commands are working. No. My commands are probably not working. Oh well. Whatever. But yeah, I hope you guys are watching. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's gonna be a good one today. I feel it. It's gonna be a good one today. I just feel it in my bones. Live and archived. Welcome for those that are just now watching. It's gonna be episode 2 of the Strip Club Chronicles. Okay, episode 2, and you guys see the title. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be actually 2 major titles in one. It's gonna be the difference between the question I asked last time was, what's the difference between a stripper and a regular girl? And this video is also gonna be my take on, for those ladies that want to become a stripper, and some tips and tricks that I want to share with you guys. Okay, and just some real spill stuff. Okay, so now with that being said, the first thing I'm going to let you guys know right now off the rip is that this commentary doesn't reflect anything of where I work. These are all my own thoughts and opinions. Okay, all right. Nobody told me to say this. Nobody paid me to say this. This is my thoughts and my opinions. So if you got a problem with what I say, take it up with me. All right, and I mean that. We got so many people getting fired for nothing nowadays. Stupid. Anyway, yeah. So with that being said, like I said, do not, like I said, if you had a problem with anything I tell you, don't take it left. Don't be trying to, do all that extra. Just talk to me. I promise you, I'm really that easy to talk to. Other than that, any girls entertainers names that I use, it will be their for the most part, unless I have their permission. I will be using their entertainer names, just for the sake of this video. Okay. So yeah, well, there's commands on my bot. I had a bot. That's what I thought I had. I thought I had commands. Slow list, my bad. But I guess not. I guess there's just timers. But anyway, yeah, so my own thoughts, my own expressions, and the names I use will be entertainers' names. You a mess. Slow list, you a mess. All right. Now, before I get into anything, I'm gonna do a quick little plug for one of the girls that I work with, Jolene Bandini. She does art. Most of these girls, a lot of these girls do different things. And K Mega was good, man. I'm gonna do a quick plug here for a friend of mine, a fellow coworker, Jolene Bandini. They're probably backwards, but they're called Splendor and Travail. Very interesting read, y'all. Very interesting read about her take into the stripper life and stuff like that. So I will have links in the description below for her Instagram, where you guys can go find her. And she has it's very interesting stuff, and there's also, it could be one, I think volume 2 is her more personal look. Okay, so I'm telling y'all right now, for those that are sensitive, don't read it. Okay, if you got sensitivity issues, please. Okay. Yeah, so y'all know how I do. Some of y'all know how I do. I post these questions on Facebook and on all my social media, because I'm very big into getting people's thoughts and opinions. I like to have people converse about things, and I asked a question on my last Strip Club Chronicles. I asked, what is the difference, or what do you think is the difference between a stripper and a regular woman? All right. I've had a few people answer my questions, so I'm gonna kind of go to those people first, and right, turn down your sensitivity, please. That pink room. Shut up, K Mega. It's red and blue. It's purple, bro. Anyway, Anyway, where is my? Here we go. Here it goes. All right. I gotta look at it, man. You a mess. All right. I'm gonna pull this one up a little bit because this one. I'm not deleting this. This is good. A few people have said it. Let me go. I'm actually gonna go to my last video too. Where's my last video at talking about this crap? Where is it? There. Okay, here it goes. All right. All right. We're gonna go on. Y'all retarded, man. I never known red and blue to make pink, but okay. It is what it is. Y'all think what you want. Strip room facts. Y'all fool, man. Alrighty. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh yeah, that's right. I do have Google Chrome. There we go. Boom. Let me see if I can pull it. Can I? No, I can't pull it. Can y'all see this? No, it's probably like very, very little. Y'all can see it. Okay, but what color is the? You're funny. Slowless, you're funny. I like that. All right. So one of the people, Uncle Witch, did say it depends on the lady. Ace of Spades. Big shout out to Ace of Spades. You can or can't. It's kind of small, right? That's what she said. But anyway, Ace of Spades says it varies. You could be a stripper and still have that vibe of a respectful woman. LOLs. And that's true. That is very, very true. Yeah, I think that's the only one. Black. Okay, can. Cool. All right. Black says there's not much of a difference, to be honest. Not even good said he's never been and didn't seem fun to him, and that's fine. It's not for everybody. Now, on my Facebook, oh man, I love Facebook because there's so much drama. Elias Taylor, I want to give a big shout out to him. He gave me a really good, breakdown here. He says, I've done securities in bars and strip clubs, and it can get retarded sometimes. I recommend working on upscale places, more pay, less bullshit you have to deal with. Nothing but square business all day. In response to working at a strip club versus a woman not, in my opinion, women who do work in that business are not afraid to express their sexuality to the public versus women who don't work in that business express that behavior behind closed doors. It's a matter of preference for the individual, and the strip club business isn't for everyone. In my opinion, it can be looked at as a fun place for a season or a stepping stone for a career, but it's not something you want to be involved in for the rest of your life, even as a customer. Okay. And of course, I got his permission to, put that in the video. So shout out to Elias Taylor for that comment. Now, I put this out earlier today. I told him the video was coming soon. So I got a lot of different things. So I'm going to be kind of going through these rather swiftly if I can. I'm going to kind of take my time, but, go with it. Okay. Sharika says, do it. It's your dream. Plus, you'll be speaking for the ones who can't, which is dope. Now, Carl, shout out to Carl right here, which is actually one of the newer additions to our Dynasty Network family. He says stripping is an occupation. In said occupation, the service they provide is to entertain clientele. A person, regardless of profession or sex, is not usually beholden to provide their time or aid to complete strangers for no compensation as a general rule. I respect the erotic dancer, for their job is difficult and it takes hard understanding and adapting to the world they're immersed into. Sometimes that stuff can get pretty scary depending on the establishment and its reputation. He asked me, not sure, he didn't know what I was getting at with comparing a job to entire half of a population. And I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to it. I promise you I'm going to get to it. Now, Greg Short, I was messing with him. I didn't see his comment, but okay. But he says, well, okay, then the difference between those women is the disapproval or lack of acceptance by the majority of society to accept the vocation of how the exotic dancer makes her money for fear of morality and ethics having nothing to do with law, but personal interest of fear of losing a husband, boyfriend, or significant other who may be supporting a household. Now that's spicy, bro. That's spicy. I like that. I like that shit. That's spicy. That's true. Because a lot of people think that a lot of people can't fathom that. But anyway, Roger, I'm gonna skip over him because he's just stupid. Okay, that was a stupid comment. I'm not even gonna flex. That was stupid. He says, "I hope a stripper reaches to hand your ass to you." Why? I work with strippers. It was a question aimed at general people that to give their opinion about the shits. Okay, and Anthony, of course, he's just there for the bullshit. And this is a good one too. Strippers are more like providers. They provide the sex crap. I've seen it all. LOL. Entertainers usually entertain lap dances, and only professional quote unquote, only professional. Regular women are boring ones. Are the boring ones. LOL. That's true too. Now, I had to give a shout out to B Shadows for this one. He says, from the words of the great Rudy Ray Moore from Dolomite, if there is no ass, then I'll pass, motherfucker. That's dope. I flex with that. I can get with that. But yeah, I honestly think those were some good comments. I want to give everybody a shout out. Appreciate those that put in time to took the time to comment and give me their input. And that's one thing I gotta remember. My camera, I'm looking over here, my camera's right up here. I'm looking at the screen. I'm sorry. Honestly, I think there's little to no difference. I personally think it's just, I think it's more, it requires a bit of an open mind. I think the girls, I think a lot of the girls that work in this entertainment industry are actually nicer than the ones outside in some cases, outside the industry, because a lot of those girls, they're more open, I feel that there's more of a better understanding of how to treat people. They know how to interact with people versus somebody who doesn't and thinks that the world revolves around them. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of girls in the industry that think that way. That especially the popular ones, the popular girls that be like, that get money, and some of them, they do let the money go to their head, and that's something that I personally don't really like, especially when I work with them, because they feel that they can control things because, oh, I'm getting money, I can basically it becomes like a pissing contest in words, and I don't really, no, I just don't like that. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of piggyback here on a couple of comments here. Carl said, their job is difficult, and it's definitely a difficult job because you're playing. Well, no, I'm gonna save that for later. Because I'm gonna go that to my next portion later. But it can be a difficult job, and for those that can make it, or that do a good job of navigating through the bullshit, those are the ones that I totally respect. Those are the ones that I definitely appreciate, because those are the ones that understand that, hey, things don't always happen their way. Things are different. People are judgmental, and if you can sift through the bullshit, then I think you'll be just fine. But I think the difference to me is more of a mental one. It's more of how you deal with things, how you deal with people, how do you deal with customers, with management, with fellow employees, your fellow coworkers as well. It's a mind state, and if you can handle that mind state well, I think it's definitely a great preparation for life. Because honestly, all that stuff that you see on social media with social justice and the whole political correctness shit, that shit doesn't fly. It really doesn't fly in that type of job. If you come in there as a social justice warrior, you're going to be in for a rude awakening, a world of hurt, a world of pain, because you're going to find out stuff that literally is not fair or literally is not right. Just due to how the nature of people are. People are picky in some cases by nature. There are guys in there that are creepy. There are customers in there that are what's the word? Not creepy, but aggressive. And for the reason, some of it is just for the fact that they don't know. Some of the guys don't know how to treat a woman. Like, they don't. Like, I'm looking at some of these guys in there, and it's really, in some cases, sad how a lot of customers are. Like, they just don't know how to act. They don't. Now, you have some that do, and some that do and that know how to, respect boundaries and stuff like that. But there are a lot that just think that, I throw money and I can do whatever I want. It's not necessarily completely the truth, but it's, to me, it's a matter of how you handle things. And for people that talk down about it and never do it, I honestly think you should just shut up. If you're gonna talk down about a stripper and you're not gonna be involved in some way, shape, or form with the business, whether it's being one yourself or being a waitress or just going as a customer just to see how things operate, I honestly think you should just shut up and just look the other way like you've been doing, because there's a lot that goes into it, and if you're not trying to understand what goes on, if you're not trying to understand what's the motives, how things work, then you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't speak on it. And that's just my personal opinion on that matter. I don't know. But yeah, if you guys got anything y'all want to add, let me know. Be sure to leave your comments below. And if not, I'm gonna kind of go into my next portion in just a second. So I'm gonna give you guys some time to get your thoughts together, and say, wait, where's my water at? Okay, yeah, and to say what you guys got to say. Do 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 do. Done. Okay. All right. We're done. All right. Now we got that out the way. All right. Now, how do I put this? How do I start this? Okay. So, ladies, for anybody that's going to be watching this, to all my ladies that's watching this now live or archived, y'all probably looked at being a stripper at one point, whether you were on Instagram and you were scrolling through Instagram and you happen to see a picture of a woman just sitting there with a wad of money, with a whole bunch of money all covering the floor. All you see is nothing but George Washington, all that stuff. And then you look, you scroll, you see another picture of a woman with money like this stacked up here, and you see money on her ear, and she over here, flaunting the money, and you like, damn, man, you at your job and you over here hating it and shit. And you wonder, like, man, what could I do? Man, I thought about it. I thought about being a stripper. All right, worry not, for I, your beloved DJ / Emperor, will help you and give you my tips on becoming a stripper. Okay. I was trying to say that without laughing. That shit was funny to me. Okay. Anyway, now, one thing, if you're going to come into this industry, one thing you have to understand is that this industry is a visual one. Okay, If you are not comfortable with your body at all, and you are not trying to make steps to get yourself comfortable, you're going to be in for a hard time. Okay, I'm going to make that perfectly clear right now. This industry is a visual one, and there's a lot of catch-22s, a lot of double standards. You got it, like I said earlier. You got to understand that part. Okay, now, how you go into this is key. Your mentality, what to expect. I know some of y'all seen Players Club. That's part of what happens. Okay, that's not all of it. It's not always like the movies. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that right now. So any negative connotations, you want to kind of expect some of that, but don't go in fully expecting it. Okay, if you can, try to reach out to a couple of strippers. If you're following someone on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, if you can, ladies, reach out to one and see what she has to say about the hot tips to get started. Like I said, it's visual. Understanding that the game is visual. So if you're not trying to get your body right, more often than not, or if you're going to be in there trying to be lazy, thinking it's just going to be easy money, stop. Okay. It can be, and I'll get into that later. But I want to get these warnings out the way. And I tell this especially to new girls that come, and I talk with them, I sit with them, and I tell them, I sit them down in the booth with me, and I let them know, hey, it's not going to be easy. It's not, especially when there's a lot of things going on at particular clubs. Certain times, clubs may have a certain reputation. Some clubs are trying to build past the reputation. Sometimes, things have been said, things may have been done that they're trying to fix. So they may be, some managers, owners may be a little bit tight on rules and things of that nature. And I guess since I'm on that topic, please go in and ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to get an understanding. Don't be afraid to understand what the rules are for that club. Understand that clubs are different. They vary by city and they vary by state. San Antonio, for example, is very conservative when it comes down to their strip clubs. A lot of women cannot show breasts without them being covered, so they have to have pasties, which is kind of stupid, really. So here you got to be, and also too, the bottoms have to be covered. Like your bottom, you can't have your like the G strings like you see in like bigger cities. That doesn't fly here. So you got to be covered up a little bit more than usual. So what that means to me is that you have to develop some sort of personality. That's one of the things I tell a lot of girls, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But knowing the rules, knowing how each club works. Each club is, for the most part, there's a lot of similarities between all the clubs, but then there's also little differences. So getting to know how the clubs work can definitely benefit you in the long run. Like I said, it's visual. You want to come in, you want to look the part. You want to come in ready, and you want to make sure you're open to communicate. That is the biggest thing. The biggest thing that gets a lot of girls in trouble is communication, and that's just life in general. And I mean firm, solid communication. Yes, nonverbal communication is great, but verbal communication is going to be key, and that's something that if you don't have it developed, you want to make an effort to learn to develop, especially while you're in this business. And I mean that, because I've seen a lot of girls get themselves in situations where they're not comfortable in, and when I talk with them and they tell me what's happening, it breaks down to that particular issue where they didn't properly communicate what they wanted. Okay. So understanding, like I said, visual. So like I said, if you're a little overweight, You might want to start hitting the gym if you can, or start doing exercises at home. Okay. um, if you can, try to get some things early. If you can, get you some shoes early. If Amazon, go to like places like Adult Video Megaplex. They probably will have some stuff like that, some outfits. Make sure your outfits are in concordance. Like I said, that goes into communication, asking questions. Make sure you have a plan. Here's the biggest thing: having a plan. Talking with the DJs, make sure you're get to communicate. Oh, communication. Talk with the managers. That's another thing you need to talk to. Make sure you talk with the management, the ownership, and the DJs. Those are the three people that you need to make sure you're in good standings with. I promise you, those are key. It's good to connect with other girls. It's great, but when you're at a particular club, make sure you communicate with the management, owner, which including the owners, that's part of ownership, management, and DJs. Those are the three people that you need to keep a great rapport with, because believe it or not, especially when you're in a smaller city or whatever, management, they connect with each other. DJs, they connect with each other. Ownership, they connect with each other. So you want to do your best to have a good rapport with as many people as you can. Okay, it's not gonna always. You don't want to be perfect. You're not gonna be perfect, but you want to overall, when somebody brings your name up, you want it to be overall a good name. A good reputation. Okay. So you talk to 5 owners, 4 out of 5 owners like you. Okay. That one that didn't maybe had a misunderstanding. It could be whatever, but you want to have a good name overall. That's the most important thing that I want to tell y'all, is make sure y'all have your name. Now, like I said, visual. You're dealing with customers, okay, and that's my I can't talk right now. That's my next biggest thing, is understanding how the customers are. Okay, what customers you want to deal with. Okay. Y'all understanding that you have a lot of power. Y'all do. Y'all have the power to say no. Okay. Determine to yourself what you will and won't put up with. And I was literally talking to a new girl about this last night when I was working. You determine what you deal with, what you will and won't put up with. Okay. If you don't want to be touched unless a customer is paying you, then you make it clear. Okay. I'm telling you that I can't stress enough how many times I have to tell girls, especially some of the new ones, that if you don't tell a customer, don't touch me, or don't touch me in certain places, they're gonna try it. Okay. If you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. Okay. If you're not comfortable with a customer, if a customer gives you the creeps, you stay away from that customer. If you're sitting with a customer and he's starting to, you're comfortable with him at first and then he's starting to creep you out, then you leave. Okay, do what you got to do to leave. And if he keeps pursuing you, that's what the management's for. You talk with management, you talk with the owner, hang out with the DJ, let the DJ know, maybe the DJ can help you out. You know what I'm saying? So you have tools at your disposal. That's why I say it's good to develop a good rapport, because if you don't develop that good rapport and you are in a situation where you really do need that help, you're less likely to get that help, because, hey, she's just a pain in the ass. This girl, man, she don't do what she needs to do. She doesn't follow her procedure. We always having to talk with her about X, Y, and Z. She doesn't tip out. You know what I'm saying? It's literally that simple. Understanding the procedure, understanding that you have to, certain things you got to tip out if you can. You know what I'm saying? Knowing what the fees are, knowing what the tip outs are. That's part of learning the process. And if you can, go to different clubs. Go. I encourage you to go to different clubs. Y'all, as an entertainer, stripper, you have the ability to work at different clubs. You guys are basically independently contracted, so you have the ability to work at 2, 3, 4 different clubs if you can, if you're able to. which can boost your clientele. It can do great. It can do great things for you if you do your things right. Okay. So don't be afraid to go to different clubs and choose clubs that fit your vibe. But if you're really just starting out and you've never done it before, I would definitely say start at one, maybe two clubs, and then just build from there. The other thing, social media. Use your social media to your advantage. I think the biggest problem that I'm finding now, especially with some of the girls that I've talked with, is that they're scared of using social media. Don't be afraid to use your social media. Hell, if you use your social media already and you already posting up pictures of you sitting on the sink and doing that shit, you might as well just go ahead and use it for your own benefit. Use it to make money. You do it for free now, just to posting pictures of your ass, and people already, talking, you leaving comments and people already interacting with you. Use that interaction for your benefit. So especially if you already have a following, use it to your advantage. I know a lot of people tell me, I've had a lot of girls tell me, well, my family does this and my family, look, okay, my family's on my Facebook and I've gotten to the point where I don't care. It's what I do. It's my decision. It's my choice. You know what I'm saying? That's what some people just need to understand. It's your choice. Lady Infamous, how you doing, love? I hope all is well. But understand, it's your thing, okay? The same family, people that complain about family, I promise you, I told a girl this, and it's so funny and it makes so much sense. The same family that'll talk shit about you will more often than not not help you when you need help. They'll talk about you before they help you. You know what I'm saying? They'll talk shit about you. Some family members will talk shit about you before they help you. Okay? So you might as well do what you need to do. Okay? And grind with those that's going to help you. Okay? Sometimes your customers will do more for you. The customers that you generate will do more for you than your family. Let's just be real about it, okay? They won't even help you out emotionally. They'll just talk shit about you and just keep bringing you down and all that shit. And they'll, drag your name at the family reunion. You know what I'm saying? But understand that it's your choice, your decision. It's up to you. It really is. It's empowerment for you. You have the ability to say no, and you can control who you want to talk with, how you get the money. Really, honestly, how you get your money, it's literally all on you. And this is what I think a lot of females need to understand. Like, even those that don't do it, like, how they get their money is on them. Now, there's some stigmas that happen, and boy, I seen it. I seen some of the stigmas that some of the girls, if you decide, how do I put this? Let me backtrack. You also decide who you hang with. Okay? There are some girls in the industry. One love for Aaliyah. How you doing? How you doing? There are some girls in the industry that are just there and they're just stuck. You know what I'm saying? They're there. They're stuck. And they're stuck in this rut, and they don't want to do better. They're just comfortable where they're at. Okay? So when they see people, new people come in, they try to get them into their thing. Try to get them hooked on, get them hooked on alcohol, hooked on drugs, hooked on things. Some people feel like they need that in order to get loose. If that's what you feel, okay. I don't agree with that. I think it should be, you come in mentally prepared. You take your time in the dressing room, focus on yourself, and be like, okay, this is what I come to do. It does sound like an addiction. Yeah, some people come in, they're addicted. Some people are already, I feel like this, some people already have that interest in them. And it's just some people just know how to bring it out. It is what it is. But that's neither here nor there. But I feel that if you what you do when you get back there, you get dressed, you come in there, you focus, and you figure out, okay, what's the goal? What's my goal for today? Get you a plan. That goes into my next thing. Get you a plan of action. Okay? Get you some customers, start talking around, start talking to customers. Get you some regular customers. Yes, there's different types of customers. One, and also let me also backtrack again because I just thought about something. There's different types of clubs, okay? I kind of break it down into there's a mixture of there's two main types of clubs. There's actually three, but two main types. There's what I call show clubs, where girls will go there, they'll show out, and the stuff that y'all see on music videos, guys throwing money, and girls are just dancing, and they're showing out, they're doing tricks, and guys are just throwing money. You know what I'm saying? Money just raining from the sky, that type of shit. And then you got the more intimate clubs, the smaller clubs, the clubs that are more, they're smaller, but they also have more of, they're more for customers that want to spend one-on-one time with the entertainers. You have more time to spend one-on-one. You have more time to spend a little bit more money. That's more money coming in your pocket. Guys that'll sit there with you, chill with you for about an hour and a half. Maybe get a few private dances, and you're walking, you're getting about at least a couple of hundred, 100 or 200 from one customer, on average. So you're walking out, sometimes you may walk out with maybe about 500, 600. You never know. And that's after tip out and everything. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you got those balance clubs that can offer both, a mixture of both the show club on certain days, and on smaller times or down times, they offer more of the intimate, with, if you will. So knowing what kind of club you want to be in, knowing the atmosphere you want to be in, that's important too. You also want to know what type of customers you want. Get regulars too, not customers that'll just, throw money on you while you're on stage, or tip you while you're on stage. But you also want them to, you want to get you some customers, some solid customers that's kind of guaranteed money, if you will. All right. So I'm kind of breaking down the game for y'all a little bit of how you want to operate. So you want to get, it's cool to get those people that's going to tip you while anytime you show up, but you also want to get a solid customer base. So if you get 5 customers, that's going to spend at least on average $100. Yeah, I condone the clubs where employees are making money without feeling used and abused. See, that's part of it. I'm gonna get to that in a second. So you want to get you like 5 customers. Say for example a week. If you can do it within a week, that's great. If you can do it within the course of a month, start small. You got to be charging for the game you spend. Hey, trust me, I do. I charge, man. I charge, but there's people out there that need some of this. So, but like I said, you wanna develop you some customers, and you want to get you a few customers, and then the rest is extra. Okay, like I said, also once I said earlier about making sure you talk to management, because you do have to make sure you take care of your house fee. Okay, and the house fee, if you can, generally the house fee is the earlier you come in, the less you have to pay for house fee. Okay, just saying. So if you can, come early. Being real with y'all, come early. It might be slow, it might be dead, whatever. Come earlier. That's less money you got to pay out. Just saying. So yeah, once you're done with your shift, make sure you understand how the tip outs go. Okay. Now for me, from what I know, $10 is normally the tip out for the DJs. All right. One love for Leah. You enjoy yourself, and I'll probably be I'll probably be talking with y'all in a little bit. But thank you for stopping by. Um, what am I saying? So DJs, you definitely want to make sure you take care of your DJs. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a DJ, okay? But take care of your DJs because for me personally, my style is very girl dependent. I try to make sure the girls are comfortable in the music that they like. I do want to make sure they stretch themselves to be better, but I do for the most part try to give them what they like, a little bit of familiarity, so that way they can be comfortable. Because if they're comfortable, you know what I'm saying? If they're comfortable, they're gonna do better. And if you know what I'm saying, if they're comfortable, the customers see it. Oh man, she's really feeling this song. It's something about when a girl is confident and you see it and it's like, damn, it makes you want to approach her more. So that's just my little psychology on the matter. But at the same time, you also gotta make sure you do what you gotta do. Follow the rotation. Figure out how that rotation works. Like I said, make sure you take care of all the people you take care of, because it does help generate your name. I'm comfortable and I gotta Uncle Witch, you a fool. Stop it. I got the moves. But no, seriously. And speaking of moves, matter of fact, I'm glad you said that. Now, once you're in and you're hired, the biggest thing I see a lot of girls do is they jump toward the pole. I want to know pole tricks. I don't know any pole tricks. I tell girls to stay away from the pole tricks when they first start. The reason being is because with pole tricks, it takes a lot of body strength, and it takes a lot of body strength, it takes a lot of body control. And a lot of girls starting out, unless they have any previous experience, like they've been doing athletics, most of the time it doesn't necessarily work in their favor. So what I tell them is to just kind of stay away from the pole, but use it more so as a prop. You know what I'm saying? So use the pole as a prop, like, set it up, get comfortable on dancing on the floor first before you start getting on the pole. Get comfortable with dancing, on the floor. Get comfortable with, people looking at you. Get comfortable with being in your skin. And yes, it can be hazardous. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you mess up. I've seen some girls that mess up and almost hurt themselves because, they don't recover properly. You know what I'm saying? Their foot, they try to do a like a little flip with their foot hits the pole, and then, they don't know how to, grab, recover, and they end up dropping, and, they land on their back and they hurt their spine and stuff like that. So, you gotta look at what works for you. Use it as a prop first, kind of use it as like you're about to set up, and certain poles, figure out what poles spin. If they spin, hey, it's more power to you. If the poles spin, kind of use it as a spinning prop, just kind of like act like you about to do something. And I'm telling you, anticipation, what gets a lot of guys, and I'm kind of spitting game here, I'm kind of giving y'all free game. What gets a lot of guys is the anticipation. You know what I'm saying? Look like you about to, F some shit up. You know what I'm saying? Look like you about to fuck it up. I guarantee you, it's like, oh my God, she's about to. Ooh. But yeah, if also, Lady Infamous says, when you're early, you got to go to the club hella early, and using a pole when you got to work on your body so you can do those moves. Yeah. Yeah. If you can, if you can't do it at home, go on a slow day. Use it as practice. Stretch. Please stretch before you start your shift. Please. I cannot stress this enough. Stretch before starting your shift. Please. Please stretch. That's all I'm saying. Okay, had one girl pull her. She told me she pulled her groin because she did not stretch. Okay. So we're sitting up here. I'm helping her stretch for like a good 10-20 minutes. Helping her, trying to stretch it out a little bit because it wouldn't hurt that much. But at that point, it was already kind of a little too late. But yeah, get your training in. Please get your training in. If you can, get you a good schedule, 3 to 4 days out the week to start, and during those days, just chill. Try to figure out how the club works. Get your outfits together. Develop your personality. That's the thing. Develop a personality. Even if you are able to go, there's some places that can go fully nude, like Austin. There's a couple places in Austin where you can go fully nude. You tend to make I think they tend to make more money there for obvious reasons. But anyway, develop your personality, period. Okay, develop your personality, your persona. Make people want to come to you. That's the key. Like, yes, it's visual, but you also want to have something to hook people in, to make them want to come see you. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's Peaches. Oh man, I know, man. Peaches is fine, man. She's dope, man. I like Peaches. Is actually smart. Use a little bit of your, use a bit of your smarts. If you're going, if you know how to do math or something, when you're talking with customers, you're conversing with customers. Have something to hook them other than just your looks. Your looks are important, but you want to have something else to hook them with. See what I'm saying? You want to get that bait. You want to have that bait just to reel them in. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, practice is important. Get your personality is important. And knowing how to treat different customers. You're gonna have different levels of interaction with different customers. So, the customers that spend more money on you, you want to be a little bit more closer to them that maybe spend a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But thank you, Lady Infamous. You got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Jesus, what work you got to do? I'm getting off at 3 o'clock. I'm off at work at 3 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, but yeah, you want to make sure you have a schedule. Have a schedule. And make sure you do your best to stick to the schedule too. Have your schedule, get everything lined up. Forget what everybody else says about the strippers and stuff like that. For those that don't, sometimes you just gotta cut them off. Sometimes you gotta just cut off the people that, oh well, oh, you're a stripper now. Don't worry about that. Where the difficult part comes in, besides physical, the hardest part about this job is the mental. This is mentally and emotionally, it can be draining, and that's one big warning I can give any girl that's dancing, any girl that's in this industry. It's draining. You know what I'm saying? It can be very draining. It can be very emotionally draining because you're playing. How do I tell girls this all the time? You're playing with fire. Okay, let me just give y'all that heads up right now. You're playing with something that should honestly never been sold in the first place. So with that being said, you have to understand that guys are going to come at you a certain type of way. Okay, there is no way around it. When I was working at Trophies, I was the owner, Mikey. Big ups to him, man. I really wish we can get Trophies back, but one of the best owners that I've talked with, and he told me this, and he told me something, and I was telling him about how the girls were complaining about some of the customers. One thing he told me was that if we kicked out every customer that a girl complained about, we would no longer be in business. Okay, if the owners kicked out every guy, or the management kicked out every guy that supposedly made a girl feel uncomfortable, they would no longer be in business. And that makes sense. Now, I'm not giving customers a pass to be assholes, but it's also how you maneuver it too. Because some guys, like I said, a lot of these guys, when they come in here, y'all don't understand. A lot of these females don't understand that when guys come in there, they're already told by society that they're not shit without money. Okay, a lot of guys are coming in there, they're dealing with problems with, you know, with their wives. Some of them are dealing with issues with their wives. You know what I'm saying? They're dealing with issues with their girlfriends, fiancés, you know what I'm saying? Or some of them are just plain awkward. There are some customers in there that are just plain socially awkward. And people don't talk to them. And sometimes you could be that person, that can make them feel a little bit better. And of course, they're going to be giving you money. So there are guys out there that are willing to pay. There are some customers out there that will not get dances from you, will not go to the private room at all, and not even get a single dance from you. They'll just talk to you. You know what I'm saying? They'll just talk with you, and they'll give you $300, for example. But you don't go in expecting that off the rip. You go in there prepared to work. You go in there prepared to, hey, I'm gonna do these moves. I'm gonna try out these new moves. I'm gonna put on a show for these customers, because at the end of the day, that's exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? The only difference really between a regular girl and a stripper is that you're capitalizing on something that most people are afraid of. You're capitalizing on something that most girls and most people in society will talk shit about. You know what I'm saying? Because let's be real, like, don't nobody want somebody who's not exciting for them. You know what I'm saying? Who doesn't want somebody who's not exciting in their life? You know what I mean? So for y'all, like I said, so basically, get your style down. Okay, and also that's another thing that I want ladies to understand is make sure you have, develop your own style, develop your personality, and also develop your style. Are you a seductress, or do you like to be seductive? Are you better at, private dances? There are girls that are showgirls, and then there's girls that are the more intimate girls, like how I was talking earlier. So there are girls that are better at, they're okay on the pole or on the stage, but they're better at teasing. They're better at, tempting, seduction. So they're better suited for, getting you into that private room and, doing the private dances there and getting more money that way. Okay. And then, like I said, you got showgirls. Some girls that'll put on a hell of a show. But when it comes down to private dances, it's like, they're not the best at those. You know what I'm saying? So, developing your style, developing, a balance, if you can. It's best to get you a balance of the two. Because when people see you on stage, you want them to come to stage, come to you, see you on stage, and then, you want to tempt them to get more. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, biggest thing you got to establish, boundaries. Biggest thing you have to establish is some damn boundaries. If you don't put in some boundaries, you're going to get ran over. Okay? You're going to get ran over if you don't put in any boundaries. And this is what gets a lot of girls in trouble and a lot of girls in awkward ass situations. Because most of them do not speak up. Okay? And they don't speak up. They let things happen because, it's either a slow day or whatever, and, and whatnot and what have you. For example, I've had plenty of girls tell me, okay, I've had plenty of girls that I work with before they left would tell me, oh, well, I'm not going to be in the VIP doing extra in VIP, if you will, okay? And for those of y'all know what I mean by extra, all right? So, and I'm like, I told them, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Y'all don't do extra. But then when the money, when their money's short and they need money and somebody's offering the money, they back there doing whatever. So which one is it? You feel me? Please, and I'm kind of giving y'all free game right now, but I don't care because y'all need to hear this. But please stop putting the price on your pussy. Please, let's stop. All right? Had one girl tell me, because she got mad at a customer because the customer was like, hey, try to call himself trying to whip it out. And he was like, yeah, how much is it, for you to do it? And she was like, no, I'm only going to do it. I'm going to charge $1,000. I looked at her like she was crazy. I said, girl, if you don't you ever do that again. She was like, why? She looked at me like I was crazy. I said, look, you put a price on it. You put a definite price on it. Yeah, he may go away for about a good month or two, 3 months. You may not see him for a while. But then what you gonna do if he come back with that 1,000? What you gonna do? You gonna be looking crazy with egg on your face. And now it's gonna put you in a situation where you don't want to be in. If that's not what you do, stick by what you say. Say it, mean it, and put the boundary in action. That's all I'm gonna tell you. If a customer's grabbing on your ass, grabbing on your booty, and you don't want to be grabbed on your booty, especially if he's not paying, you make it known. If y'all, I don't know if y'all feel me, but make it known what you will and won't do. And yes, you have the right to change it for any customer. It changes. Okay? If you chilling with this customer, okay, if one customer says, okay, you comfortable with one customer and he's doing all that for you, you okay? You feel comfortable with him, you feel comfortable with him. But you don't feel comfortable with this other guy, he seems a little creepy to you, you know what I'm saying, and you really don't want him touching you like that, then you have the right. You have the right to set that type of boundary for yourself and for your own sanity's sake. You know what I'm saying? So also, with that being said, make sure you take the time to rest, please. Rest, because emotionally, like I said, it can be emotionally draining. You're dealing with all these people, you're dealing with all these energies. So you have to be able to find a way to decompress if you can. You know what I'm saying? Find a way to decompress. Find a way to, find a way to, find a way to decompress when you're on your days off. Don't trip on, extra stuff. If you can help it. If you already got, whatever your life is outside the club, cool. Handle your life outside the club. Whatever reason that you are for doing it. Maybe, you just want to feel empowerment. Maybe you want to, you like dancing. That's great. Whatever your reasons are, that's fine. But make sure you're respectful. Make sure you treat your employees, treat your fellow dancers with respect. You know what I'm saying? Treat the fellow dancers with respect. I just got a message on my Facebook. I'm gonna get that in a minute. Treat fellow people with respect. Team up with some, get a group of people that you can team up with if you can, because if y'all can, you trust me, you make more money in groups than you do by yourself. You know what I'm saying? So get with some good people. Get a couple of girls, maybe DJ. Team up with a DJ too. Hi. Team up with the DJ, maybe a couple of girls, get this money, plan on getting the money together. Make sure you have a plan, so get your plan in place and do what you can to put it into motion. Okay. Let the naysayers go. If you got to block people, block people. It's going to hurt sometimes because some people, like the people that you cool with, they going to probably turn when they find out when they find out what you're doing. Because some people just can't handle that. You might be in a relationship with somebody. If they don't understand it, if they're not feeling it, they can't handle it. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all, some of y'all don't, and please stop looking. I gotta say this. Please stop looking for a dude to take you out the game. Please. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to end up happening. You do it, it's going to be a control factor. More often than not, it's going to be a control. I'm telling you. That's I'm just telling you, y'all. I don't know if I'm like Lady Infamous saying I'm probably, maybe I should be just charging, for the game I'm spitting, but I'm just saying, I'm just saying from my personal experience, like if you gonna do it, Okay, if you gon' drink, drink, but be mindful of what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. Be mindful of the consequences to your actions. You know what I'm saying? And do your best not to get caught up in bullshit, please. It's going. People gonna have their things to say, but don't get caught up in bullshit. You know what I'm saying? If you don't feel general rule, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, listen to your gut feeling. If your gut, if somebody say, hey, come with us after the club, we gonna do this, this, and this. Okay, if you don't want to do it, then you don't have to. If you don't feel comfortable for whatever reason, you have the power. Like that's what I need. When I'm gonna keep saying it until somebody gets it. Like, ladies, y'all have that right. Y'all have that power to make these decisions. Like I said, set your boundaries, make them clear, and in that way, when you go to management, that which should be last resort. But when you do go to management and they are bugging, that way you have a ground to stand on. Now, and it sucks. Now, and it does suck. I ain't gonna flex. It does suck when, because I've had this happen to me too, when the customer, the VIP customer, is cool with management and they're just assholes, especially when they get drunk. Still, just make sure you do your job. Just make sure you do what you can do. Take as much as you can take, and just dip out. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, and even if they call for you, even if that person calls, if management or a customer calls for you, you don't want to do it, you don't have to. It's up to you. But I think that's about it. I think I made it as simple as I can make it. Yeah. So y'all got anything y'all want to add or take away? You know what I'm saying? Let a brother know. Drop those comments below. Uncle Witch, thank you for commenting. K Mega, thank you. Slow List, One Love for Aaliyah, thank you for coming through. For those that missed out on this, y'all, I'm gonna have it archived up, so it's gonna be here. I'm not taking it down. So just want to give y'all some tips from my perspective. And the biggest thing that's another thing too. Please don't be on a man hating spree. You can't. You cannot be a man hater. You cannot be anti-male and work in this industry. I just feel like you can't do it because it's counterintuitive. Because when people find out, you're gonna end up shooting your own self in the foot because, oh, men are trash. Okay. You can't disrespect the people that's paying you. That's just me. Now, there are some people that like that shit. There's some people that like, if I come through and make a request, you please don't show me. Well, then don't make them feel uncomfortable, Uncle Witch. No, but yeah, I'm gonna probably do another one about customers. I'm gonna talk to the fellas, man. I'm gonna talk to the fellas my next one. I think I'm gonna talk to my fellas the next time. But my customers that come in, I'm gonna probably have a little word with y'all. We gonna have a chat. We gonna have a talk, fellas. But I do these live because that way I can kind of just get everything out in the open. If I forget anything, I forget something, I might come back and add something. But I just want to give y'all a little taste of things. I may, if any ladies that I work with, that want to be a part of this, let me know. I may do a couple of like snippets, if of course with consent, of course, of a couple of clips of girls dancing and stuff like that. And if I can, if dancers want to be a part of this series and give their story, I'm more than, I'll be more than happy to give y'all a platform. It's just that, like I said, we're just gonna set some ground rules, and then we're just gonna go from there. But other than that, y'all just be sure to understand that, ladies, that if this is it's a job. Don't let society tell you different. It's a job. It's definitely a job. It's the ones that the jobs that normally people think that aren't shit are really the ones that are, more often than not, the more serious jobs. The more serious ones, because they may not be demanding physically, they're more demanding emotionally. Now, this job in particular is both, because in some cases there are some clubs that will make sure you stay within a certain weight, which I think is stupid. But there are certain clubs that they want girls to look a certain way, and sometimes you kind of have to go with that. Is it fair? Not really. I don't think it's always 100% fair. It's not always fair, but it's always it's something you want to keep in mind, and that's something, if you don't want to be a part of that club, or if you hear something, a club that's doing something that you don't understand, and you ask questions and they don't address it to you, they shut you down, then you don't need to be there. You know what I'm saying? If you don't feel comfortable, like I said, bottom line is, if you don't feel comfortable with doing something, don't do it. And if you have people to talk to, it's great to have people to talk to, whether it's in the job, at outside the job. I'm like I said, I always try to tell my girls that, hey, if you need somebody to talk to, I'm open. Whether they take me up on it or not, that's on them. But if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel like, feel a certain type of way, hey, say something, speak up. If management doesn't respect it, then you already know what the deal is. You got to take your talent somewhere else. Definitely make sure you try to be you want to be a benefit to the club. And if you can be a benefit to the club, especially with using social media and getting more attention, the more attention you get, the more traffic that you can help bring in, the better rapport. It also helps with you as well. So if you can, that's why I tell you, use your social media. If you got to create a new account, create one. It's not that hard. Okay, start from the ground up. People are going to talk shit about you regardless, okay? People are going to talk about you till the day you die. And even when you're dead, people are going to talk shit about you. Okay? It is what it is. It's up to you. However you handle it, it's completely up to you. And I hope you take the best course of action. But anyway, that's gonna be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys got any questions, any rebuttals, or any concerns, drop them in the comment section below. I want to hear from you. I definitely want to hear from you, especially from y'all sanctified, saved folks that think y'all know everything. But yeah, like I said, I just want to give y'all my take on it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Drop your comments below feel free to also follow me below: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. Once again, before I forget, I'm gonna plug a friend of mine here. Before I forget, check out Jolene, Splendor, and Travail. She's got 2 zines out, Volume 1 and Volume 2. You can find her also on her Instagram right now, and I think she's on Twitter. But right now, Jolene Bandini, I will put, once I find the link for her Instagram, I will put that in the description, in the archives. But yeah, y'all. I think this was a good discussion. I think it was good. I think it was worth it. I feel good. I feel good about myself. But if you guys got any questions, concerns, comments, complaints, talk below. All right. Be sure to share the video. Let people know what's up. Tell them it's one thing to get, when a girl's spitting game, giving you guys the game, but I'm giving y'all the game from customer/DJ's perspective. So, hey, I feel like my opinion is valuable to you guys. But I'll be catching you guys on the next time. Y'all be easy. Peace and God bless.